Silk Road. The Silk Road was an ancient network of trade routes that connected China to the Mediterranean Sea, facilitating cultural and economic exchange for over 1,000 years. It began around the 2nd century BCE during the Han Dynasty and extended through deserts, mountains, and vast plains, covering approximately 4,000 miles. This route was pivotal in bringing silk from China to Europe, hence its name. However, it wasn't just silk that traveled these paths. Spices, tea, precious metals, and other luxury goods moved along this route as well. This trade route wasn't a single road but a series of interconnected paths. As traders moved along, they exchanged more than just goods. Ideas, religions, and technologies flowed between the East and West. Buddhism, for instance, spread from India to China and other parts of Asia through this network. The Silk Road helped shape the civilizations it connected, fostering a rich tapestry of cultural exchange and mutual influence. The decline of the Silk Road began around the 15th century due to the rise of sea trade routes and political fragmentation along its paths. Despite its decline, the legacy of the Silk Road endures, symbolizing the profound interconnectedness of human societies and the enduring power of trade to bridge cultures and continents. Trans-Saharan Trade Route. The Trans-Saharan Trade Route was a crucial network that connected sub-Saharan Africa with North Africa, enabling the exchange of goods across the harsh Sahara Desert. This route became prominent around the 8th century, driven by the demand for gold in the Mediterranean and Islamic worlds. Caravans of camels, often numbering in the thousands, would traverse the desert, carrying not just goods but also culture and religion. Gold was the most significant commodity traded across this route, mined from the rich deposits in regions like Mali and Ghana. In exchange, the sub-Saharan regions received salt, which was essential for preserving food, and other goods from North Africa. Ivory and slaves were also significant exports, with many African slaves transported to North Africa and beyond. The Trans-Saharan trade route was more than a commercial artery, it was a conduit for cultural and religious exchange. Islam spread into West Africa through these trade networks, profoundly influencing the region's culture and politics. The wealth generated by this trade helped build powerful African empires, such as the Mali Empire, which is famed for its affluent and influential ruler, Mansa Musa.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more topics you love.
Amber Road. The Amber Road was an ancient trade route that connected the Baltic Sea with the Mediterranean, facilitating the exchange of amber, a precious fossilized tree resin prized for its beauty and supposed magical properties. This route dates back to prehistoric times and became particularly significant during the Roman Empire. Amber was highly valued by the Romans, who used it for jewelry, medicine, and decorative purposes. The route traversed through modern-day Poland, Czech Republic, Austria, and Italy, linking the northern and southern parts of Europe. Along with amber, other goods such as furs, honey, and slaves were traded. The Amber Road played a vital role in the economic and cultural exchanges between the northern and southern regions of Europe. The movement of goods along the Amber Road also facilitated the spread of ideas and technologies. The trade brought different cultures into contact, fostering a mutual exchange of knowledge and traditions. The importance of the Amber Road diminished with the rise of maritime trade routes, but its legacy remains in the archaeological sites and artifacts that testify to its historical significance. Incense Route. The Incense Route was an ancient network of land and sea paths that connected the Arabian Peninsula with the Mediterranean, facilitating the trade of incense and other luxury goods. This route was active from around the 3rd century BCE to the 2nd century CE, driven by the high demand for frankincense and myrrh, which were used in religious ceremonies, perfumes, and medicinal practices. The route began in the incense-producing regions of southern Arabia, such as present-day Yemen and Oman, and passed through the Arabian Desert, connecting to major trade hubs like Petra and Palmyra, before reaching the Mediterranean ports. Alongside incense, spices, precious stones, and textiles were also transported, enriching the cultures and economies of the regions involved. The incense route was not just a commercial pathway but a cultural bridge. It facilitated the movement of ideas, technologies, and religious practices between the Arabian Peninsula and the Mediterranean world. The wealth generated by this trade contributed to the prosperity of ancient cities and helped spread cultural influences across vast distances. Spice Route. The Spice Route was a maritime trade network that connected Southeast Asia with Europe, driven by the European demand for exotic spices such as pepper, cinnamon, cloves, and nutmeg. This route was particularly significant from the 15th to the 17th centuries, but its origins trace back much earlier, to ancient times. Southeast Asia, particularly the Maluku Islands, Spice Islands, was the primary source of these coveted spices. The route extended through the Indian Ocean, passing through the Middle East, and reaching European markets. Spices were highly valued not only for their flavor but also for their preservative and medicinal properties. They were often worth their weight in gold, making the spice trade highly lucrative. The spice route was instrumental in shaping global trade and exploration. The desire to control the spice trade led to the Age of Exploration, with European powers like Portugal, Spain, and later the Dutch and British, seeking direct access to the spice-producing regions. This quest for spices resulted in significant maritime discoveries, colonial expansions, and the establishment of global trading empires. Tea Horse Road. The Tea Horse Road was an ancient trade route that connected China with Tibet, facilitating the exchange of tea from China for horses from Tibet. This route, also known as the Southern Silk Road, was active from the Tang dynasty, 7th century, to the early 20th century. It traversed some of the most challenging terrains in the world, including the Hengduan Mountains and deep river valleys. Tea was a highly valued commodity in Tibet, where the high-altitude climate made it difficult to grow crops. In exchange for tea, Tibetans traded sturdy horses, which were essential for China's military and agricultural purposes. This trade was mutually beneficial, fostering economic and cultural exchanges between the two regions. The Tea Horse Road was more than a commercial pathway, it was a conduit for cultural exchange and mutual influence. The trade facilitated the spread of Buddhism from Tibet into China and vice versa. It also contributed to the development of infrastructure, such as roads and bridges, and the flourishing of towns and markets along the route. Transatlantic Trade Route. The transatlantic trade route was a significant maritime route that connected Europe, Africa, and the Americas from the 16th to the 19th centuries. This route was central to the infamous triangular trade, which involved the exchange of slaves, raw materials, and manufactured goods. European ships transported manufactured goods to Africa, where they were exchanged for slaves. The slaves were then shipped to the Americas and sold, and the ships returned to Europe with raw materials like sugar, tobacco, and cotton. This trade route had a profound and devastating impact on millions of African lives, as well as on the economies and societies of the involved continents. The forced migration and enslavement of Africans led to significant demographic and cultural changes in the Americas, contributing to the development of a diverse, yet deeply scarred, cultural landscape. The transatlantic trade route played a crucial role in the economic development of the Americas and Europe. However, it also left a legacy of exploitation, suffering, and racial inequality that continues to affect societies today. The abolition of the transatlantic slave trade in the 19th century marked a significant turning point, but its historical impact remains deeply ingrained. Indian Ocean Trade Route. The Indian Ocean Trade Route was a vast maritime network that connected East Africa, the Middle East, India, and Southeast Asia, facilitating the exchange of goods and cultures for over a millennium. This route was active from ancient times through the medieval period, peaking between the 8th and 15th centuries. The Indian Ocean Trade Route enabled the exchange of a wide variety of goods, including spices, textiles, gold, ivory, and precious stones. The monsoon winds played a crucial role in this trade, allowing ships to sail efficiently between different regions. Major trade centers along this route included cities like Mogadishu, Aden, Calicut, and Malacca. This trade route was not just a commercial network but a conduit for cultural and technological exchange. It facilitated the spread of religions such as Islam, Buddhism, and Hinduism, as well as the exchange of ideas and technologies. The Indian Ocean trade route contributed to the prosperity and cultural richness of the regions it connected, fostering a sense of interconnectedness long before the advent of modern globalization. Mediterranean trade route. The Mediterranean trade route was a crucial network of maritime routes that connected Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East, facilitating the exchange of goods, ideas, and cultures for thousands of years. This route was active from ancient times, through the Roman Empire, and into the medieval period. The Mediterranean Sea served as a natural highway, enabling the movement of goods such as wine, olive oil, grain, and luxury items. Major trading hubs included cities like Rome, Alexandria, Constantinople, and Venice. This trade route was instrumental in the economic and cultural development of the Mediterranean region, fostering prosperity and cultural exchange. The Mediterranean trade route was more than a commercial network, it was a cultural melting pot. It facilitated the spread of ideas, technologies, and religions, contributing to the development of Western civilization. The interactions along this route helped shape the art, architecture, and philosophy of the regions it connected, leaving a lasting legacy on the cultural landscape of Europe and the Mediterranean. Grand Trunk Road. The Grand Trunk Road is one of Asia's oldest and longest major roads, stretching from Bangladesh to Pakistan, passing through India. This ancient route has been a vital trade artery in South Asia for over 2 millennia. It was significantly developed during the Maurya Empire in the 3rd century BCE and later enhanced by the Mughal Empire in the 16th century. The Grand Trunk Road facilitated the exchange of a wide variety of goods, including textiles, spices, grains, and other commodities. It connected major cities such as Kolkata, Delhi, and Lahore, serving as a lifeline for the economic and cultural exchanges in the region. This route was not just a commercial pathway but a conduit for cultural and intellectual exchange. It played a crucial role in the spread of religions, including Buddhism and Islam, and facilitated the movement of scholars, pilgrims, and traders. The Grand Trunk Road contributed to the cultural and economic integration of the Indian subcontinent, shaping its historical and cultural landscape. Northern Sea Route. The Northern Sea Route is an Arctic shipping route that connects Europe to Asia, passing along the Russian Arctic coast from the Kara Sea to the Bering Strait. This route has gained significance in recent years due to the melting of Arctic ice, making it increasingly navigable. The Northern Sea Route offers a shorter alternative to the traditional Suez Canal route, reducing travel time and distance between Europe and Asia. It is primarily used for the transportation of natural resources, including oil, gas, and minerals, from the Arctic region to global markets. This route's development has significant geopolitical and environmental implications. It opens up new opportunities for trade and resource extraction but also raises concerns about the impact on the fragile Arctic ecosystem. The Northern Sea Route symbolizes the changing dynamics of global trade and the ongoing challenges of balancing economic development with environmental preservation. Panama Canal. The Panama Canal is a man-made waterway that connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, significantly shortening the maritime route between the east and west coasts of the Americas. Completed in 1914, the canal has been a critical artery for global trade, enabling the efficient movement of goods between major markets. The Panama Canal allows ships to avoid the lengthy and treacherous journey around the southern tip of South America, the Cape Horn. This reduction in travel distance and time has had a profound impact on global trade, facilitating the exchange of various goods, from consumer products to raw materials. The construction of the Panama Canal was a monumental engineering feat, involving the excavation of vast amounts of earth and the construction of complex lock systems. The canal's operation has had significant economic benefits for Panama and the global maritime industry. It remains a vital component of the global trade network, symbolizing the ingenuity and ambition of human engineering.